Is that coming through?
Can you hear me?
Check.
I'm the one person that doesn't get that.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check. Yes?
He is Michael.
Mic's on 3. Mic, yeah.
Michael check.
Give her a
When I go to dinner with him, I say, Mike, check.
When I say mic.
Oh, when I start with
Okay. All right, great. Awesome. All right, we got the slides up. Perfect. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I know it's late on Friday and it's a long weekend, I think, for a lot of us. So thanks for being here and listening to us. So we're going to really talk about demystifying a little bit of what NVIDIA is, because I think a lot of you know us as a GPU company, but we're really involved, and obviously there's a lot of talk about AI here. So this whole panel, we're trying to essentially explain to what each of us do at NVIDIA and how we can hopefully help the ecosystem, help everybody in the room here somehow, and also give you the right resources of who to contact and who to follow up with if this is interesting what we're talking about. And so with that, I'm going to start with some introductions. I'm Katja Reitmeier. I work in data science around media and entertainment at NVIDIA, and so we've basically sort of set people here in a line that kind of makes sense also in the way you engage with NVIDIA. And so I'll let everybody kind of briefly introduce themselves, starting with Michael.
Yeah, hi everybody. Michael Gates, I'm an account executive at NVIDIA Corporation. Yep. Hi everybody. Michael Gates. I'm an account executive for NVIDIA.
So start with sales. Then, my name is Josh Minnie. I work as part of our Inception program. NVIDIA has a program for startups with 23,000 startups we work with, part of our broader ecosystem. So I cover media and entertainment.
I just did all that.
I'm Rob Ferguson, I'm the Director of Development Relations for Media and Entertainment. I have a team of experts, and we focus on just long-term engagement with developers to help them adopt our technologies while providing support as they develop their units.
I'm Bianca Pryor, so I'm the Director of Data Science for Media and Entertainment at NVIDIA. And I lead a team of 5 folks. We come from a vast background, and we're most interested in talking to people who touch data. So you could be a data scientist, database administrator, a statistician. I want to talk to you, okay? And we have NVIDIA products and solutions that can help you.
Hi, Jason Shugart, Solutions Architect for Media and Entertainment. I work closely with Michael in our team of 4, connecting our customers to the smartphones inside NVIDIA, as well as partners. My background is visual effects, so I'm often speaking to media and entertainment companies about workflow and in terms of helping them solve the problems.
Hi everyone, I'm Rick Champagne, and I'm the Director of Global Media and Entertainment Industry Marketing Strategy. And so, assuming that all things went well with all of these people along the way, maybe we have something awesome to tell the world together. That's one of the things, but I also work with the global teams, the marketing teams, the campaigns, PR, and all of those groups, and do find myself on the front lines with customers a lot, so that's why I know a lot of you, and I've also been a conduit through, but now you know the people directly, so this is amazing.
So Rick calls us and says you're doing a panel.
Yeah, that's how that happens. Bianca, so Infinity Fest really was stood up to kind of connect Hollywood and the technology. So the story is always Hollywood and the Silicon Valley technologists. So can you sort of help us connect the dots between the two and talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So not knowing everybody's background in the audience, I'll come at it from a simple angle. So if you think about Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, 12 Labs, amongst the list goes on and on. A lot of these Gen AI applications and softwares are running off of large language models, natural language processing, text to image, text to video, maybe we all know these things. The point is, you need a super chip to do that, and NVIDIA historically has been in the game for that. So, coming from that background and then, adding the software stack to it, that's what we've been up to over the years. So NVIDIA, bringing that GPU, the fast, you need that motorsports car. You don't need horse and buggy here to run those LLMs. You need that sports car, and that's what we're up to here at NVIDIA, and how we can help media and entertainment run all of that substantially faster. So we're all about those speed ups.
Yeah, and that's, we talked about that early on, that NVIDIA has really evolved in very much a platform company, and you're obviously very much in AI, and that's a big discussion, obviously, in the film industry. So, Michael, just kind of going back a little bit to your role, You work directly with the customers, and you work, with a lot of the big Hollywood studios. And can you talk a little bit more about that, like how sort of you start those conversations, and then we get sort of into the partner ecosystem kind of down the line?
Yeah, absolutely. So what my job really is I'm kind of like the executive to executive team translator. So every company has their own culture, their own politics, their own initiatives. And NVIDIA, we have those same things as well. So I kind of play the matchmaker and work with what we call a team of four. I think Jason talked about this. A team of four is a really interesting concept in NVIDIA, and it's a culture we practice day in and day out, where we try and align with a minimum of 4 resources. What's fun about this model is there's a team of 4 plus. So we're very dynamic in the way we go to market. So as resources are needed, we can just dynamically staff people into projects, opportunities. So nothing static.
Yeah, and that translates also to that you don't necessarily have, the team of 4 is not necessarily from the same group. So, if you have a specific problem that might involve, different areas of NVIDIA, then we bring that team together sort of on the fly, which is nice. So we're not this monolithic, like, you focus only on this, you focus only on this, so that's nice. And then we do the same thing with Inception, which Josh could talk a little bit more about.
I just have to do a brief aside. The Infinity Festival is very near and dear to my heart. I was hired during the pandemic, so I never got to meet my team. And 2 years ago, this is our 2-year anniversary.
This is our anniversary.
He's got me down here. It was the first time I actually went to an event. I'm like, I work with you. I've seen you on Teams. You're the guy from Slack. So anyway, it's very nice to be back here 2 years later. Now I'm on stage with my team, so this is fun. So I said briefly, the Inception program, we work with startups of all stars and stripes, from 2 people with an idea to OpenAI. Right, so just a wide swath. We are, anybody that's building anything that can be accelerated, right? And I joined 3 months before JBT launched. So for the first 3 months, I was explaining, here's why GPU could accelerate your computer vision application. And I was having to really prospect and find startups, and now the tide has turned, and there's just a never-ending list of people doing cool stuff that NVIDIA can help with. So my job is really to work with, identify interesting companies that I think we can help accelerate. So I say we exist to kind of help make you better, faster, and cheaper. And so, my job is working with kind of the bleeding edge, and then also connecting those to resources within NVIDIA, whether it's compute credits, discounted hardware, and really it's access to the rest of the team, right? Like, I'm the first person you meet at the front door, but once things are going well, you meet the rest of this team that can really help take your application, speed it up. And then my favorite is when I get to work with Michael and find customers to bring this stuff to market. So it's part of that team of 4, and my focus being startups in early stage. And the best ones are when the startups are still there 12 months later. I've lost a lot of friends this way, but the ones that make it, it's great.
And can you talk about, like, if there's startups in the room or people know other startups, how do you actually get into the program?
So it's the NVIDIA Inception program. There's a QR code, or
we have a QR
Google
code
works well too. And yeah, it's pretty simple. It's an application completed. Someone will review it. We'd love to have you. NVIDIA Inception. There's my plug. So join the program. I've seen a few of you in the program. Thank you. I think someone from 12 Labs is here. Yeah, there you go. Google Inception. Google NVIDIA Inception.
And we have QR codes later that will be on the screen, so there's direct links to all the sites and all the things that we discussed as well. So Rob, speaking about partners, right? We're not only involved with the Inception partner ecosystem, but what we call the partner ecosystem gets much larger, and that's where you and Bianca work. Can you talk a little bit more what you engage with, who you engage with?
Yes, so I focus on mostly content creation and taking from Inception and taking the next level. So longer-term engagement, longer-term partnerships. So if you're looking to adopt technologies in new and unique ways and you're struggling to do that, we have experts to help guide you on how to implement those technologies and take it to market. So it's about building long-term relationships, helping each other go forward through all these challenges we're facing, change, this unending change. So we're there to help as we navigate this together.
And can you talk a little bit about the areas that you cover and what type of companies you work with?
Yes, so I have so I'm a team of experts for 3D, audio, music, virtual production, post-production, VFX, broadcast, and kind of focusing on these market segments with that expertise. So if you have applications that serve those areas in the market, happy to help, and I can assign you to a certain person who can stay with you through the process. They all have production and experience as well as technology experience. So we know the workflows, we know the struggles you've been through, we've been in the trenches as well. So we're happy to work with you on solving problems together.
Yeah, and you'll notice also that the only sales guy, no offense, the only salesperson on stage here is Michael. So everybody else here is really about working with the partner ecosystem and making sure that you get the resources and really the time from us to help figure out, how to get you to customers, which is, this handout.
Dev before rev.
Dev before rev, exactly. So that's, before rev, we're all about working with the partner ecosystem. So Bianca also works in this area, so if you want to talk a little bit about your area of expertise.
Yeah, so I come at it from a data science side, specifically streaming. So I've only been at NVIDIA for 2.5 months and talked with the team. But the world in which I came from, I was working directly with the streaming platform on pt1. So I got to hear all the first-party data challenges and what they were up to and how my team could support and help. So it's very clear to me when I came on over here, I was like, yeah, this is where we need to be. NVIDIA has so much that we could offer and help with, specifically like rapids and polars. The list goes on and on, what we have available in our coffers for data scientists and statisticians out there. So that's what I'm up to, and eventually we'll kind of spread that strategy out and start targeting ISVs, inception partners, and the list goes on and on.
And then, once we get to sort of more of the implementation, that's where Jason comes in. So if you want to talk a little bit more about how you engage, what are the challenges you see kind of across the board, especially in regards to generative AI and other areas.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we talked to lots of different customers, and there's a few different profiles that we learned about. So one type of customer actually is large enough that they have engineering resources. So we can get them direct access to our engineers, answer their questions, get them really involved, learn from them, direct our software, be able to get feedback and push our development along. The next type of partner might have money, but not necessarily the engineering resources, so we'll point them to a partner. And so we have a whole ecosystem of partners that we can reach out to. They know our software. We work with them very closely, GSIs, ISVs, all types of companies. And then the third type is folks that are willing to wait for Photoshop to have that implementation done. So different types. And I think Gen AI is still very early in the ecosystem for companies. A lot of folks are nervous and sitting on the sidelines. I think smaller companies are way more adventurous and being a lot more experimental with things that are not necessarily final pixel. So we're still early days there. I think there's a lot to figure out.
Yeah, and generative AI, I always say that when I'm anywhere on a panel, I say I do the boring generative AI, which is data science. So Bianca, if you want to talk a little bit about sort of more about what we do in that area and why that's already being utilized, quite a bit of generative AI that is not the visual generative AI that everybody.
Because you make money. You're the thing that's making money with AI.
Yeah, well, we're saying reference. Cash flow is everything around me. Yeah. I would say that one of the biggest. One of the big things was around segmentations and how do you understand your audience. And heard the BuzzFeed group yesterday talk a little bit about this, but spent a lot of time trying to unpack that. So if you have millions and millions of subscribers, it's not efficient. There's no way in the world you would hyper-personalize for every single subscriber, million after million. So what you do is you break them up into cohorts, cohort analysis or segmentation. Maybe you have 3, maybe they should have gotten to 6, but statistically, you have to make sure they're homogeneous enough that they have similar attributes within each group, with a statistical difference, that they're different enough to the other groups, right? And so that's how you monetize, against your audience. And I think that's something that, we want to be up to more here at NVIDIA, and how we can help our streaming platform partners really elevate, how to go about their segmentation. So there's ways and tools that we can go about that. So we're excited about that. Other issues like pricing and bundling. You have streaming platform A. They might want to buddy up a streaming platform B and offer you a really sweet deal for $9.99, where you might have paid $7.99. So, how do you do a time series analysis? How do you get, down and dirty with the linear regression to understand all of that? So there's so many different ways that my team can absolutely help with that, and we're looking forward to that.
And in that same vein, Rob, we had a discussion earlier, somebody was talking about RAG, which is, in the VFX production, when you want to know more about how do we actually charge people? How do we analyze what kind of shots we've done on the last show? How do we do better with proposing what this might cost for the next show? If you want to talk a little bit about RAG, because it's such an important area that is still not really talked about, and that's retrieval augmented generation.
Yeah, but business intelligence about your production is super valuable, and you can get that information in real time while you're in production, understand where your shots are in the process, who's behind, how much it would cost to redo that shot, as we all have to do over and over. So just kind of building that layer of intelligence around your pipeline would be very, very useful. So applications and developers are thinking about ways of collecting that and feeding that into RAG systems for that kind of intelligent feedback.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so RAG, I think, is, we all think about LLMs and they're all pre-trained, but then you want something that's specific to your studios, to your company, and you have all this data sitting somewhere, and you're not really using it. In this way, with the RAG system attached to your data, you can literally talk to your data. You can ask it to do analysis for you, do agentic AI, where you actually have agents looking for data that you're trying to collect. So a lot of these tasks that nobody actually wants to do, AI can kind of take off your hands. And it's just things that take a long time, are really boring, and that's AI. AI is perfect for that. And then, great, just, for you also, working with the creators in the media entertainment industry, how should we think about, how do we engage with that audience?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you heard from everyone, we're very partner-centric, and including Michael, actually. You don't carry that. You don't have.
Yeah, I actually don't sell anything. I do want to just say, I have the easiest job in the world because of all these smart people, but also our great partners like Z by HP. Selfish plug, I did spend 10 years of my career at HP in the past,
Yeah.
so I might be a little biased.
You didn't sell
but they
anything
do a great job selling all of our products for us.
Right, so we're very partner-centric, and so we work closely with the ecosystem of partners. And so you heard GSIs, that's global system integrators. So if we don't have someone, we have a partner who can help you as well. So definitely come to us when you're doing your planning, because we can help you connect with NVIDIAns, our dev tech people, our applied engineering people, sometimes our research people, but we also have this massive ecosystem of partners. ISVs, you heard, independent software vendors. So those are all of the the tools that you use every day, and those are creator tools. So that's one of the ways that we engage. We help accelerate those applications so that creators have a better experience with those tools. But we also have NPNs, that's the NVIDIA Partner Network. We work closely with them. And so if you think about, here in Hollywood, you probably work with companies like RFX, and they're like big value-added work for you. We work closely with them. There are other companies like JBT Technologies, there's Deloitte, there's Accenture. So all of those companies are part of our ecosystem, which is what this panel is about as well. And specific to creators, here at Infinity Festival, we've been talking about AI all week, starting on Wednesday, but the fascinating thing is, we've been talking about the democratization of creativity, and anybody being able to have their own voice to express their creativity, and there are channels now that are for consumers and creators of all kinds as well. So there's a distribution channel. And so we work very closely with HP on programs like NVIDIA Studio. NVIDIA Studio is, we work with HP on everything from consumer platforms to the high-end workstations that are validated, tested on creative workflows. We work with them on the drivers, the whole system approach. And we talked about yesterday the accelerated computing, which is the reason why we're able to accelerate so fast, is that full stack accelerated computing, where it's not just a chip that's accelerating something, it's the software, it's everything, the network, the network fabric, all the components coming together in a system. And so we work with HP, they're our partner here, and that's one of the ways that we work with them. But yeah, on the software side with all of this generative AI.
Thanks for the great transition to NIMS. So Jason, we talk about NIMS all the time, and there's the Knights of NIM in Monty Python. It's not that. Whatever VPs like to say all the time. Jason, you want to talk a little bit more about NIMs and how they apply in this scenario?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. So we have, there's been,
Well, yeah, show of hands, who knows what a NIM is?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start there.
show of hands, who wants to talk to Josh next after this call? Because he's part of the Inception program. I know we got some, there we go. We got a good one, it's shy ones. All right, so NIMs, NVIDIA Inference Microservices. That doesn't really explain a whole lot, but what you can think of is the cloud has been a big push over the last few years, and NIMs are a way of containerizing workloads to run in the cloud, right? So we're not taking large programs and shoving this massive program into a cloud that can do a bunch of different things or very small tasks. We're actually breaking that up into small little parts that only do that one little job. And so it really depends. The first NIMs that we had come out, easy to digest, they are LLMs, so large language models. There's tons of open source models that are out there, but the problem is they don't have the standard API. They're a little difficult to stand up. They're not accelerated, and they don't have enterprise support. There's all these issues with each one. So what we've done is take each model. Every Monday, we have Model Monday, and we come up with a new one and release it. And this is a way, through NIMs, you can go right on build.nvidia.com. There'll be a QR
code for that too.
and you can play with it right there on the website. This is something on the webpage. You can play with it. You can actually, there's a code button. You can download that code and paste it into your favorite text browser and begin developing it with an API endpoint that's right there. Try it. You can it'll run right in your script. Really easy to work with. That is a way where we use a standard API, OpenAI's standard, right? Where you just swap out the model. If you want to try all the different models that we have available, you don't have to change your code except for one line, which model you're pointing to. So the point is making this code simple, easy to digest, modular. These are containers that you can plug into all these others into a bigger workflow we call a blueprint. So this is a way you can digest these workflows and run run in the cloud.
And you can come back to my team if you need help implementing those, if that sounds so simple. So,
Yeah.
we're happy to help with it.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, that again, we're all about the partners. So same with Josh, like everybody here is essentially trying. I always explain it when I have these calls to partners. I always say that we're basically your external business development team. So the more we know about you as a partner, the more we can talk to Michael and the rest of the teams that work with customers on our side and say like, oh, you have this problem, like we have this partner that can solve that for you. Speaking of that, Michael, can you talk about some sort of success stories that you've had with some of your customers, maybe some that involve a partner or not?
Yeah, I mean, so I wish everything was like really cool and exciting, but a lot of the last year we spent is just removing the toil of day-to-day work and leveraging agentic workflows and AI to automate and drastically increase performance. So when I talk to people, I try and give them one sentence of what NVIDIA does. And everybody in this room can grasp the concept that NVIDIA is the best company in the world at compressing time. You'll walk away and you'll understand a lot about our company and how it works. What I mean by that, think about all the times when in the 1900s when I first started using a computer, you log into AOL and you could go get a cup of coffee. Then it became instant with high-speed internet. We're doing the same thing today. We're just accelerating compute. We're accelerating workloads. We're working with tons of our external partners, like the 12 Labs company. We're working with tons of developer companies like Adobe, Epic, Unreal. We're working with tons of cloud companies, AWS, Azure, GCP, and we staff resources to try and solve the most difficult problems and deliver exceptional results.
And then Josh, you work sort of on the cutting edge, right, with all these startups. So what are some of the trends that you see emerging, some of the things where you see like, okay, that's where we're going to be a few years out?
It's all
It's hard to
agents,
tell now.
right? Agents is the buzzword right now. So if you don't know what agents are, it's an LLM with some software attached to it, right? So it's to me, it's sort of fulfilling the promise we all thought of AI. Like when I would show people ChatGPT 2 years ago, they would say, oh, well, it can't do that. What if I wanted it to, I would say, make me a recipe and then add all the steps and show me how to do it. Well, like now those are a few individual steps that are going to be chained together, right? So I think that, a lot of the startups I work with are integrating this functionality using things like NIMs, right? They're just building blocks. You want a large language model, great. You want to add an image model next to that, great. You want to add an avatar on that, great. Like here's the things, we plug them all together. Now you've got this agent that you can interact with, and it's tied to your company's data. That's that brag you were talking about, right? So we've just sort of put all these building blocks together and you're building this team. And so I think a lot of the creative tools that I'm seeing these, I see startups that are building, entire businesses around, sadly, I think will be a feature in some of the incumbent applications that are out there, but they're kind of showing the way, and like you said, taking more risk. I think we will get to a point where you will be able to work with, it's finally talking to the computer, right, in a natural language way, which kind of took a while for me to really appreciate that, but I said before, my life changed with Squarespace. When I could build a website, I had a lot of ideas, but I didn't know how to get it out to the world. I feel like Squarespace commercial. But now I can build my own website. 15 years ago, I needed $10,000 and I could hire a web developer and have some sort of ongoing contract. I couldn't do that. Then once I could, amazing. Now I think with agentic AI, I can start to use more of these tools that I'm not a filmmaker. I've worked my way around iMovie a bit and remove a background. But now I will be able to start talking to these tools, right? Remove the background. That's like a lot of clicks. I think those are going to start to disappear very quickly. So that's kind of one of the things I'm watching. So that's going to allow a lot of like new entrants into the space, which is exciting for a guy that can't do a lot of this stuff. It's getting easier for me. But also just removing friction, right? Like it's a lot of the unsexy stuff, but it's, one of the things I think is interesting. And all the startups I work with are of this space and are of this industry, and oftentimes they left a company in this town to go solve a problem that wasn't being solved, right? So I think as AI is able to reduce that friction, more of these ideas are going to come to life. And I like it because it usually comes in the form of startup. Anyway, long-winded answer saying agents.
Agentic AI.
Agentic AI.
Great. Rob, you want to talk about your area of what you see as well?
Yes, the challenges. So just rapid change, I would say, is the first one we're seeing, by having applications adapt to that. But as they adapt more AI features into their applications, it's making them rethink what an application is, what the workflow is, and what UI UX changes need to happen. So we spend a lot of time implementing AI features in the right way that are not disruptive, that actually help the workflow and keep that in mind. So we do our work on that front.
Yeah,
I think a couple come to mind. I think one is around the language model. Like we're there, we're in it, it's happening. And I think the question now becomes how do we apply that to media and entertainment more specifically in the site that I'm in, which is in streaming. So how can we make search, hyper-personalization snap back to like, hey, I want all of these clips of cute cats and show me all the movies and series around that. I think that's one thing. And I think the other is if you think about, we're out in the world now, right? Live events are back, festivals. We actually have a team, not represented here today, Smart Spaces in Cities, I think they're called. And how do we think about what they're up to and how they're taking all of that telemetry and data? That's actually very akin to media and entertainment if you think about a live festival. And how do we make meaning of that? Geocaching and beaconing, used to be a thing, but how can we get smarter about that? So I definitely believe there's a world